I'm Jenn Trepeck of Salad with a Side of Fries podcast, here for the Flavors of New York documentary. We're here with Carissa Reiniger. Carissa, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me. It's so fun.
Absolutely. So you are the founder, creator of Silver Lining. Tell us first the mission behind Silver Lining.
Yeah, so I started Silver Lining 18 years ago, which is crazy when I think about that, but our mission is to change the economy one small business at a time. So I started it in Canada in 2005, and since then we've worked with over 14,000 small business owners in 65 countries, and those small business owners use a program I created called SLAP, which helps them set and hit financial goals.
Amazing. And so what's your background? How did all of this come to be?
It makes almost no sense. So I have a background in psychology, and then I ended up working for a year only in advertising, and somehow came to this realization at 22 years old that I wanted to help the world, but I really loved business, and I needed to figure out how to do something that used sales and business development, but also that I thought would make the world better. And I couldn't figure out what it was, and I just started talking to small business owners, and I was so struck by the fact that every small business owner that I met was incredibly courageous, smart, talented, worked hard, and yet so many struggled to get to profitability, sustainability, to get to the scale they wanted. And I thought to myself, A, that can't be possible. It can't be possible that all these people aren't smart enough to succeed. That doesn't make sense. But B, there's got to be some commonality in all these very diverse stories. And so that was really what I entered into, is why is it so hard to grow a small business? If I take my business background, could I help figure out the simplest way to grow a small business? But what was really profound is what I really recognized is I actually had to use my psychology background, and that at the root of why so many small business owners struggle to get to profitability and sustainability is it's less about business strategy, and it's really more about our mindset, our behaviors, the things that we do with sort of natural instincts that don't always help us get the outcomes that we want. And so all these years later, we are a behavior change program that is tech-enabled, data-driven, accessible to business owners everywhere. And it's really about the behavioral modification, the behavioral adjustments that we need to make as small business owners to be productive, effective, and ultimately financially viable.
I love it. And you said business owners everywhere. You have businesses on the platform all over the world.
Yeah.
So talk to us, how did you create that global reach?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, one of the things that I think is the most beautiful thing about Silver Lining, it's not me, it is our global community of small businesses, and I'm so proud of it. I mean, I wish I could take credit for it. I wish I had an answer, is basically what I'm trying to say. It's happened really beautifully, very organically, and it took a really long time. You know, I always say people look at the company today and they're like, oh my God, Carissa, look at this thing you did. I'm like, yeah, don't get too excited. It took me 18 years. Like, it took me so long to get to where we are today. But it really was, our whole tagline is changing the economy one small business at a time. And how did we build this global, amazing community of diverse small businesses? One small business at a time. I mean, it sounds so silly, but it really is true. We did not raise venture capital. We did not have some big win. We did not have some big stroke of luck. You know, every day for 18 years, we hustled and we connected with small businesses and we made new, connections with amazing people like you. And every day we added small businesses to the platform and to our community. And it really is this beautiful story of what I think is real sustainable growth. You know, one day at a time, one small business at a time, one new initiative or effort at a time, and it's added up to this. And so hard work, beautiful humans, I mean, that was I think that's the answer.
Yeah, I love it. And you talk about community, you also, and initiatives. Mm-hmm. So we connected through the Thank You Small Business, New York. So talk to us about that initiative, and maybe we can highlight a few of those businesses that you've connected with.
Yeah. I'd love to. So I'm Canadian, but I've lived in New York for many years, 14 I think now. And so I consider myself a New Yorker. Not all New Yorkers agree, they're a tough audience, but I think of myself as a New Yorker. And when COVID hit, I mean, New York was hit so hard, as we all know. And as I started to say so often in 2020, it's really hard to be a small business owner. It's really, really hard to be a small business owner in New York City. It is basically impossible to be a small business owner in New York City during a global pandemic. I mean, it was like terror. I mean, it was just like a disaster. So I started this campaign that was all about trying to recognize small business owners who stayed open through the pandemic, who did not move away from New York City, who said, you know what, this is my city, and yeah, it's really hard, but I'm a New Yorker, right? Whether born or arrived, right? Chosen or, born into it. And basically, I wanted to find, recognize, support 100 small business owners that I thought did beautiful things during the pandemic. And so we launched a public campaign. We invited New Yorkers in all 5 boroughs to nominate small businesses that maybe they ran, they knew, they loved, they went to. And we had almost 1,000 nominations, which was so cool. It was very hard to choose the 100. But what it really demonstrated is the resilience of small business, the incredible resilience of New York City. And it was really, it was such a treat and an honor to choose 100 amazing humans. And we built this multi-year campaign all about connecting those business owners to each other, promoting them through amazing opportunities like this. And really trying to remind New York City that when it comes down to it, New York City is a small business city. And when we were in crisis, it was the small business owners that took our city through it. And it's our job as a city to rally around and support and buy from and celebrate the small businesses that make New York so great.
So with this Thank You Small Business New York 100 businesses, what are a couple stories to highlight from that group?
So there's a couple that I want to feature. One is this conversation. This literal moment that we're in right now. Alan Goldshire found us and found this initiative and was one of the amazing humans that literally reached out and said, I see you're helping small businesses. How can I help small businesses? And filmed, I think it was almost 40 videos of these individual beautiful stories of 40 of our 100 winners. And then release them out, trying to raise the profile and basically the storytelling of the incredible small businesses of New York. And then you were one of those small businesses that won Thank You Small Business New York. And then you met Alan through that. He filmed you. He saw how fabulous you were. That's resulted in you guys doing more work together. And so I think that this moment, literally sitting here, is exactly what's so special about the Silver Lining community and about something like Thank You Small Business New York, where people take initiative, they say they want to do something amazing, other amazing people find it, they jump on board, then they find each other, and all of a sudden the whole philosophy, which is that we are really better together than apart, comes to life, as is proven in this very exact moment that we're in together right now.
It's an incredibly powerful collaboration and community. And so with that, and with Flavors of New York and all these people coming together, we've created videos to highlight and create the exposure for a lot of these, not just the 100, but other small businesses in New York as well. So Alan and I, amongst others, have created these free videos for a lot of the Thank You Small Business 100. What are some of the other videos where people have said to you, this has been so amazing for my exposure and brand building?
I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to answer that question. And the thing I'll say is, so many small business owners who use Slap around the world are always trying to figure out, how do I get my story out? Or what does it mean to even create video content? And it is so intimidating for so many average, normal people, including myself. I never create video content of myself. So I just think it's really powerful and such a big gift to have someone like Alan and you literally go around the city at your own expense to capture the stories of these incredible small businesses. It really is a beautiful thing. And so I just want to say thank you for that, actually, because I think it's a big deal.
Well, thank you.
And some great examples of that are, there's the wonderful small business owner in Harlem named Bijay, who started a restaurant called Sion Cafe. She's an Ethiopian Jewish woman. And so she has brought together Ethiopian and Jewish culture through food and entertainment in this really historic, beautiful space in Harlem. Someone like her who works so hard, who's got such a beautiful mission, and most of the world don't know about her, right? We're out there celebrating all these tech entrepreneurs when someone like Bijay is, I think, changing the world and doing such gorgeous work. So that's an example of a video you guys created, elevating the story of someone so wonderful, so deserving of exposure. And I just think if we can keep getting these stories of these incredible small business owners into the world, into the mainstream, we'll be reminded as a society, like, what really matters, right? What does it mean to build a business that contributes as opposed to just takes? What does it mean to build communities that are vibrant and not just full of banks and pharmacies, right? Like, we've got to be focused on what it means to build a good economy and a good community. Small businesses are the answer to that, but it's critical that we tell their stories, and that's why I think these videos are really so important, but also just so beautiful. So the other one that I just want to shout out is Tamara Horton. Sometimes when we think of small business, we think that they're all restaurants and retail, but small businesses are the fabric of all of our society. So Tamara runs Studio Samuel, a nonprofit organization that works with and accelerates and advances women all throughout Africa. And she is so dedicated to her work. She does beautiful, wonderful work supporting women everywhere. And again, her story may not be told as often, but has been through these videos, which I just think is so great. Another one, Lacey Chisholm, Fit for Dance in Brooklyn. She's incredible. In fact, I just have been working with her to help her expand her business, which I'm so proud of her for. But her story is another one that's incredible. She has a master's in education. She worked in the school system and then, was brave enough to totally change her career, start this fitness business, launch a studio, build it during the pandemic, not shut it down. And I just see her thriving and, elevating her story is so critical. I mean, I could talk about these small businesses all day long, as we know, but, just thinking about these incredible humans. Tony in the Bronx, who's got Barrio, this great restaurant that's deeply rooted in the local culture and community. We've got Marvin in Queens, who built Dashable, which is actually trying to solve the problem of how we help more small business restaurants, get delivery and get connected to local consumers. We've got Diana in Queens, who built this incredible food kitchen. We've got Alyssa, who's built a service business helping people find domestic talent and domestic help. The list goes on and on and on of the sort of diverse, all, representative of all 5 boroughs, all industries, all backgrounds, these small business owners that really do make up the fabric of New York City. I mean, we could just sit here all day and talk about all of them because they're all amazing. I don't even know how to pick.
You've had 18 years now of experience supporting and working with small businesses. In the last, couple years since the pandemic, we've created hundreds or thousands of these free videos. From your perspective, what's the value in that content for small business owners?
I mean, one, I think it's just massive. One of the big issues, though, is that most small businesses probably wouldn't even know what to do with it, right? So when we think about the average small business, we're overwhelmed, right? We're running around chickens with our heads cut off. We're, hopefully SAP helps solve some of those problems. We get more focused, more disciplined. However, I think that there's really 2 layers to it, right? One is, there's so much value in having someone who is a storyteller, who has video skills, take the time and actually create a video, right? I mean, that in and of itself is worth thousands of dollars and is such a rare treat for a small business owner. But then I think the question becomes, what do you do with it, right? So how does a small business owner take this amazing asset that you guys have been so generous to create and leverage it? So yes, you could share it on social media in the full form, but if a small business owner could be really savvy about splicing it, using it in different social media channels, thinking about how to take the content and maybe run some digital ads with it, share it with their community so they can help, spread their story more and have their customers build a deeper personal connection with them. I think there's inherent value in the asset, but then there's so much secondary value and ongoing value in getting really savvy around taking that asset and using it in multiple ways over a long period of time to really share the story and engage customers, current and potential customers. So, I'd love to hear your own experience around that, how that's been helpful for you.
Absolutely. So I took the original video and put it on my website under the press page because why not?
Yeah, totally.
Right? And then I've also taken, just as you were saying, the long form video, spliced it up into less than a minute of, combining things together, a few pieces from different parts of the video, pick whatever song is trending on whatever platform at the moment, right? And putting it out there. I mean, for my brand as a podcast that's not a video podcast, our Flavors of New York salad with a side of fries have become my entire YouTube presence.
Really?
Instead of putting the podcast on YouTube. But there's a lot of pieces to taking this content, splicing it up, doing different things with it, putting it on the website, using it on social media. And I see it. That takes time, effort, and energy and a different skill set. And I do think a big piece, as you were just saying, of being a small business owner is that we are wearing every hat at times. And so, as you were saying, there's a tremendous value in letting people who know how to do this. And, there are certain pieces that might be free and certain pieces that are relatively nominal cost. Like you were saying, a video might cost thousands of dollars. Like, I've experienced it in my own business and exposure and social media presence to leverage people who are better at this than we are.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think that for whatever it's worth, right, if I think about what it means to help small businesses, for you guys to create these videos for free and then provide a service to actually help the small businesses leverage the videos in all the ways you've just described. I love it. Everyone wins, right? The small business wins, they get the asset. You guys create a new revenue stream. The small businesses have a new way to attract new customers. I think it's amazing. Again, my whole belief is we really are stronger together than apart, right? You're amazing at things, Alan's amazing at things, I'm amazing at things, small business, but none of us are amazing at everything. So the beauty and the growth happens when we find ways to buy from each other, support each other, leverage each other's skills. And I think anything is possible. That's the amazing part of it all.
Yeah, so speaking of growth.
Yeah.
Flavors of New York has made it to 5 states so far. We're certainly on the up and up and expanding. And I think a big piece of that is strategic partnerships. And one of the things that I've seen in my experience with Silver Lining and Slap is that you are a master of strategic partnerships. So pick your brain a little bit. What do those strategic partnerships, or what might those strategic partnerships look like for the expansion of Flavors of New York?
Yeah.
Or Flavors of your city?
Yeah, Flavors of fill in the blank, globally everywhere. So I, just going back a bit, I didn't raise venture capital, but even though we are a tech company and we have grown into this, place that we are. And so I had to get really creative because I needed money. And so I got good at really trying to understand, how do you build mutually beneficial partnerships with corporations who want to reach small businesses? And I realized that the primary thing I had to convince them of, which I believe to my core, so it was honest, is that marketing and selling is really not the best way to talk to a small business, right? None of us want to be marketed to. None of us want to be sold to. We need to be helped, right? Small business owners just need some help. And so, I'll use an example. Spotify advertising became the partner on Thank You Small Business New York. And credit to their team. They really understood that, right? They realized that they could spend all this money running ads or, doing marketing. But if instead they just helped us help all of the small businesses, that would be better for them, for us. So it was cheaper for Spotify to basically help us help small businesses in New York. They built better exposure, I think, way better brand loyalty. Every small business that was one of the Thank You Small Business winners got a $250 ad credit to try running ads on Spotify. So now Spotify got 100 new customers and also spokespeople, right? And so all of a sudden, again, if we think about it not as sponsorship, but really as true partnership, how do we, as media companies, small businesses, big companies, right? Regardless of our resources and our size, how do we all come together and share what we have to offer? That is how I think we build fabulous partnerships. And so if I could imagine, right, what this looks like, imagine a world where, you guys are filming videos of small businesses, not just in multiple states, but multiple countries. The small businesses get that beautiful free asset. If they want to leverage it to find new customers, they pay you guys to use your skill set to splice it and think about social content and all the ways that they could use it to leverage it. Media companies come on board because everyone needs content, right? And they start distributing these content pieces and telling the stories of amazing small businesses around the world. That starts to create public sentiment that we need to buy from small businesses. We need to choose community over convenience. We need to put in the effort and maybe the extra 4% to buy from a local business instead of shopping on Amazon. Now we've got movement in the economy. And then you've got big companies that come in and say, you know what, instead of buying a local ad or running this campaign over here, let me help invest in making this happen and build the brand loyalty and the collaboration with all these small businesses and have my logo, associated with something so beautiful. That is how we build partnerships, I think. That's how we all come together. We bring what we each have to offer, and together what we each offer becomes something so much bigger than any of us could do alone.
Carissa, thank you for not just the New York, thank you small business 100 selection, but for spending your time with us and supporting everything we're doing with Flavors of New York.
Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for what you're doing. It's really beautiful and it's really important.
Well, thank you. For Flavors of New York, the documentary, I'm Jenn Trepeck of Salad with a Side of Fries podcast. Bye for now.